Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here. Going to be commentating another StarCraft 2 matchup for you today. Today we're going to be taking a look at a game between Tarson and Grubby. You can see here in the bottom left we do have the yellow Terran player Tarson, and in the upper right we do have the green Protoss Grubby. So TVP here on Shakur's Plateau. This is going to be a series of games between these two players, and this is going to be game number 1 in the series. So there you have it. Looking forward to the commentary today. Going to be actually recording quite a few videos today, so keep an eye out over later throughout the day and then into tomorrow probably. It's going to be definitely likely extending into that time period. Just the time it takes to record and edit and actually upload the videos. It usually takes a day's worth of recording, usually take up about a day and a half worth of actual upload time. So there you have it. Grubby going to be continuing up this production here. Wow, there you go. That's Great observation, Force. I love my early game observations. Tarson going with that depot really close to the command center there, not straying with that first SCV too far so we can get right back to mining and definitely cutting back on that not mining time. Go ahead and lower that. There you go, buddy. And let's take a look over here for Grubby. What exactly is Grubby intending on doing? Obviously, well, he's going to be going with that just normal standard opener right here with that gateway. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy here. Taking a look at that placement here, knowing he's against a Terran player, why would he be going for some sort of a wall off like this? Well, this semi-wall in for his minerals, this is going to help cut back on possible paths for things like Hellions. Hellion harass can be very frustrating, so if you can block off some avenues of attack for those Hellions, it's going to make them that much less effective. Take a look over here. It looks like Grubby is going to cut straight across into that cross position. He's going to be scouting Tarson right away. Very first thing. We can see inside of Tarson's base, very standard play. That refinery just finished right now. That first barracks just about finished as well. Likely to be seeing a Marine out of that almost instantly as soon as that finishes. And then here comes that orbital command. So there you have it. We do have that probe scout from Grubby inside of Tarson's base right now, doing a little bit of harass, just trying to be a pain in the butt. He's going to do this for probably about another 10 or 15 seconds until that Marine comes out. Then he's going to want to head back home. Taking a look over here, a nice pylon on the edge here. Really like this placement. Going to, of course, allow him to warp in units down in the low ground if he decides to be aggressive, or if he gets pushed against, using them to hit as a flank, basically. That's going to work fairly well as well. Inside of Grubby's base, of course, still nothing too unorthodox. Second gateway coming down right now. Really surprised that he actually just revealed that to Tarson, just letting him know right away, hey, you know, I'm not going to be teching up to a Stargate or anything right away. Taking a look too, you can see no second assimilator, so it's a pretty telling sign. There goes that warp gate research. Let's take a look over here. We do have that one Marine, wasn't able to catch the probe. Looks like the probe did manage to make it home scotch-free. We do have a Reaper coming out for Tarson. That's going to be used, of course, for secondary scouting and a little bit of harass. And there's another proxy pylon from Grubby. So Grubby setting himself up for the later stages of the game, most definitely trying to hide those proxy pylons all over the place. That's going to put him in a better position when he needs to harass later down the line. First Marine right now for Tarson, chilling out the Xel'Naga. Looks like he's going to be moving down to that second Xel'Naga as well. Take a look, actually. He might be able to get that probe. I don't think that probe is going to be aware. No, it is not. The probe needs to be careful. Trying to juke around right now. We do have a Stalker coming over here, so that Marine is going to want to head back home. Yeah, he is going to be in quite a bit of danger. Same thing with that Reaper. The Reaper is going to be no match for the Stalker. Looks like Tarson's going to be going for that quick expo, and he's going to need these 3 barracks just to defend himself early on. Marine, again, heading back on home. Reaper, knowing the Stalker was on the board, super surprised he pulled over there. He just lost over half his HP to that Stalker. And again, another shot from the Stalker. Unbelievable. I'm really surprised right now by Tarson, in all honesty, that he even took any hits from that, let alone almost losing his Reapers. Reaper's done absolutely nothing right now. He's got 0 kills, hasn't done any scouting either. I mean, the main purpose of that was to check Grubby's base and see what was going on, so hopefully he does decide to move out with that. One Marauder and Marine moving now to try to protect that Reaper just in case the Stalker tried to continue up that pursuit. Looks like the Stalker's going to be chilling out over here, maybe hoping to catch the Reaper if he cuts straight across, in which he would clearly do so. Stalker grabbing the Xel'Naga. We have the probe over here at the Xel'Naga, so it looks like Grubby is maintaining a pretty good idea as to what's going on. Looks like Grubby was just going with that 2-gate expand, not even bothering with a 3rd gateway, probably solely because of the fact that he has all the scouting and he saw the Reaper. He's going to assume that there's not a lot of heavy Marine Marauder pressure going to be coming. There's that Robo right now, so as soon as that gets up, likely to see an observer that's going to be heading right on over to Tarson's base. Can't see Tarson again in going for this quick expo, worried about the possibility of a strong push. Going to be setting up this bunker just to help defend himself while he's fairly vulnerable early game. A little does he know, though, we do, of course, have a quick expansion as well from Grubby. And again, unfortunately, that Reaper isn't going to be making it over until now, 6:50 into the game. So definitely much, much later than you would kind of hope it would move in, especially since kind of the main purpose of that is that secondary scouting to check for that quick expo or to check for that fast aggression. But either way, going to be moving in right now, so let's take a look at what the Reaper ends up seeing right now. Just a bunch of research going down. We've got Stimpack coming down for Tarson. Also, that Robo just about finished another simulator. We do have those going down here at the Expo. So it looks like going to be moving on in, trying to check for that expansion. I think he's going to grab it. The one stalker trying to chase down. There we go. So is aware of that expansion, just barely making it out of the range of those sentries. Checking for the possibility of a third as well. It's not likely, but it is possible that Grubby went for a very aggressive third. And actually, see you later, Reaper. One shot from the stalker takes care of that fairly quickly. Taking a look over here inside of Tarson's base, keeping up that Marine Marauder production. That Stimpack just about finished right now. We do have that starport coming in, and as well as a reactor here on this factory. So clearly that's going to be used for a hot swap and get out some double medevacs really early on. And then later in the game, we will be seeing some Vikings out of that to deal with these Colossus that are coming on through, because we have that robotics bay right there. So Colossus will be making their way on through. One observer heading across the map. Is Grubby coming out with any more? No, just the one for now. Not having any more in production. A little surprised. I mean, personally, as Protoss, I definitely like to have at least two. Want to scout possible expansions, and then just to have a really strong idea as to exactly what's going on. Get as much vision as possible. But that's my personal preference. Looks like Grubby isn't deciding to do that. Obviously, the major concern with that is that the Observer does cost 75 SPN, and that is quite a lot. It is quite a heavy investment, so it is understandable why you wouldn't want to do that if it wasn't deemed necessary. Grubby dropping the pylon here. Going to be delaying that expansion of Tarson when Tarson does decide to finally move into his third. Looks like Tarson's also going to be heading across the map right now with the factory, using that as a scout. Once you have your starport up, you see that fairly often because you don't really need the factory at that point in this matchup. What you're going to see most always out of a Terran player is just Marine Marauder Medevac Viking, and then maybe throwing some Ghost in there as well later game for some EMPs, but that's a typical build you see. There's of course the option of playing with a mech style play, a lot more immobile, and just a lot less players tend to favor that. So first two Medevacs are in play right now for Tarson. Let's see if he's going to decide to do any harassing. Looks like he will, loading those up right now. Medevac's going to be heading on out. Looks like he's going to be doing some drop harass. Proxy pylons all over the map for Grubby. I'm really loving that. That's definitely a very solid play, very smart of him indeed, because again, that's going to come into play and help him quite a bit later down the road. Take a look on over here for Grubby inside of his base. We can see that Thermal Lance coming out right now. In terms of army size, fairly low. I guess he's only a little bit behind Tarson right now, but I'm not seeing a lot. There's a couple Stalkers over there. We also have that one Colossus, 2 Zealots, and the 5 Sentries used to possibly force field the wall just in case there's some aggression. You can see that nice spread as well, just in case there was a Ghost for EMPs. Having that good spread is going to help him quite a bit. Observer not scouting inside of the base, just sitting right outside so that he will see when Tarson does eventually decide to push out. Factory Scout looks like it is landing over here, and I must have missed something. Really sorry about that. Those guys are stemmed up, so he must have dropped something. Maybe it was possible that Grubby had tried to move out for fourth, but here comes a drop right now. We're seeing some nice force fields go down, drastically cutting back on the range of these units. It's not allowing them to pursue, basically. That's the major problem there, and that pretty much nullified that attack. He didn't end up doing much damage at all. There is still that landed factory. Looks like Tarson has decided to take control of these towers over here, bringing those Marauders to take out the possible Stalkers that would be there. We do have level 1 upgrades for both the ground weapons and ground armor coming out right now for Grubby. Tarson, again, was just going with that harass, but really hasn't done anything besides that. Really sad that I missed this. And actually, look at that, dropping the factory over here. And again, this is going to be the same idea as what Grubby's doing over here at Tarson's third, trying to delay the third of Grubby. That's exactly what Tarson is attempting to do. And finally, we're going to see he's going to be fully aware of this. So there's that factory. Right now, Grubby is aware of that. Probably going to see him bring down some units just to deal with that. Picking back up with those units, he's going to be heading back out right now. The one Marauder is going to be coming across the Zealot and Stalkers. A couple Marines coming to join the fight, though. But unfortunately, the Marauder is going to get dropped. Yes, it does. These Marines not going to stand much of a chance against that Stalker. So pretty much see you later, buddy. Grubby with another proxy pylon. Definitely loving these, placing these all over the place. I am really liking the fact that he's doing that. Right now in the game, again, all we're really seeing is both players macro up. We have seen Tarson try to do a little bit of harassment, but it hasn't really been all that effective. We're seeing that Expo block for both players over here as well. And looks like actually here is coming the Expo of Tarson, building right in his main. How is Tarson's upgrades doing right now? I'm interested to see how he's been doing. He is 0-1 right now. Is he getting that armor? Yes, he is. And hopefully he moves up to that range level 2 attack as well. And the one Zealot going to be taking out the Marauder. Marauder not paying attention. There we go. Finally, Tarson grabbing that Marauder. Going to have no problem with that. Zealot needs to be careful, though, about getting too close within melee range. And actually, see you later. Zealot managing to chop down that Marauder. And it looks like Tarson's actually heading back home, deciding to not try to continue up this harassment. Taking a look at the top side here for Grubby. A drop up here could definitely do a bit of damage. We do have those Colossus in the main, though, so I suppose that would be a cause for concern. But even just dropping them to try to snipe down some pylons or snipe down some buildings, I mean, look at how tech-heavy this one corner of the base is. The Marines and Marauders over here could definitely snipe down the Twilight Counter or the Robotics before these Colossus moved in and actually did enough damage to stop them from taking out that tech. And that would be a big advantage. Lots of Vikings coming into play right now. Obviously, at this point in the game, Tarson is aware of the fact that, hey, there's almost certainly Colossus. He hasn't even scouted that bay, but he's pretty much basically relying on the likelihood of Colossus being on the board. That is, in all honesty, a little bit concerning, though, that the fact that Tarson has done that. Maybe he did scout it and I just missed it, but we obviously see that he hasn't seen that building yet. But what if High Templar were in play? Tarson would be in a lot of trouble. But either way, that's not the case. There is in fact Colossus on the board, so those Vikings are definitely going to be a good decision there. Finally, right now, Tarson, realizing the pylons blocking that possible Expo, is going to be forced to bring his units on over to take care of this. We do have a couple Ghost in play as well. That's, of course, going to be used for those EMPs, trying to take out the shield. Some DT moving across the board right now. How many do we have? Just the one? No, there's 2 DT. One over there. There's another one. So going to be moving in, and this is, again, going to be trying to delay and deny this Expo. Even if it's only for a few seconds, 10, 20, 30 seconds, it's still going to help him delay the Expo being dropped for Tarson. And while he's got his Expo up and running, he's obviously going to be in a great position right now. You can see Tarson has lifted off this factory in all likelihood because Grubby moved down his units and decided, hey, I'm going to take this out if you don't lift it off. It looks like Grubby is getting ready to possibly deny this Expo over here as well. The DT going to town over here. How many kills does he have? He's got 6 already. Unbelievable. Going to be hiding in the corner, but no, scan going down. Tarson is aware of where the DT is, so see you later, DT. No longer going to be effective. One DT sitting over here, another one over here. Is it just those 2? No, there are 4 in play. Where are those other 2? I do not know where those other 2 are right now. They're going to be chilling around somewhere, not in the main base. Don't really know at this point. Oh well. Well, there's a couple more DT somewhere else on the board, so hopefully I don't miss a whole lot of action. As of now, I'm aware of that one over there and the one by the tower. And that's all I can really see. So there you have it. There is some more somewhere else in the map, and that's definitely going to come into play at some point. We can see that turret's up here. It looks like this is going to be changing to an orbital command and not a planetary fortress. That's quite interesting on his half, I would have to say. Was that changed back? No, those are still DT chilling out somewhere. I wonder where the F they are. I'm going to stop looking for them, though. I guess not. There we go. 1 DT moving forward right now with a couple of Zealots. Going to start going to work on this SCV line. This is going to do a lot of damage. You can see right now Tarson forced to push back with his entire army. Unbelievable the amount of damage. And now that he's finally pulled up, was able to mop that up. Realizing at this point that there's a pylon up there, going to take that out. The Zealot's going to start chopping down these Marines, though. Going to get this Marine as well. Yes, he does. That one Zealot with 3 kills. That's a fair trade-off. He's going to lose his life here. He's going to get the Marauder, too. Oh, very close. Almost got that Marauder. Big scan going down for Tarson, seeing Grubby move across the map almost instantly. The second he had moved across there, he caught that. So very nice by him. One observer heading on over right now. Going to be spotting the placement. Needs to be careful, though. It looks like he may walk right into the turret. Is it going to happen? Oh, boy. Turret, are you going to get the kill? Yes, you do. 3 shots right to the face of that observer. See you later. That is very unfortunate for Grubby, I'd have to say. It looks like we are going to see some Psionic Storm coming out right now for Grubby. Also, continuing up that Colossus production. Really isn't all that worried about the mass Vikings right now. As you can see, Tarson sitting with a lot of Vikings. Really unbelievable. That's a heavy amount of supply and resources invested in those Vikings. Tarson moving across right now with the factory. Oh, there's one of the DT. Moving across with the factory. Going to be trying to get some more scouting. He's going to catch the 4th Expo. And actually, there's a 5th up here as well. So Grubby keeping up this consistent expanding, and this is a little concerning in all honesty for Tarson. Tarson better start making his way on out and moving out for some additional expansions as well. You can see he's just sitting on the 3 right now. Now both players are capped, so as soon as a big battle does commence, Grubby's going to be in the better position in the sense that he's going to be able to reinforce much quicker, because again, here's a 4th and a 5th that those are going to pop in just a few moments, and once they do, it's going to be a big problem. DT, but a scan going down, taking care of it. Storm laying waste to some of those Vikings there. You can see that already, some of them in the red. Storm not the most effective against Vikings. They're obviously most effective against light bio units, but either way, still does a hefty amount of damage. You can see that amount that they did take. Couple SCVs moving on down. Looks like those are going to be for some repairs on those Vikings. There you have it. And finally coming out with another expo. But it looks like, I mean, at this moment, Tarson's going to be behind. Here we go. This Nexus is up. This Nexus is just about up. So going to be seeing a transfer of workers. You can see his main's pretty much mined out. His natural's almost mined out as well. Wouldn't be too surprised if he took a few of these workers off the line and Maynard them probably over here most likely, since that one isn't sitting with any workers yet. Bunch of High Templar moving across the map right now. Looks like they're going to see if they can do any storm sniping. See if they can get... Oh, no, they don't even have the energy for a storm. I didn't think so. So they're just kind of chilling out up front. Very interesting that you would be scouting with expensive High Templar. I'm a little perplexed by that, in all honesty. Moving back to the safety of the cannon. There we go, changing into an Archon. And wow, look how long it takes these guys to work down that Archon shield. Why did you just stop after the shield? After the shield, he's only got 10 HP. I cannot believe he stopped when he just ran out of the shield. But here we go, spotting the Expo, going to move on down, working his way to try to snipe it, and it looks like we're going to say see you later to the Expo here of Grubby. Grubby is waiting to engage. He wants to make sure he catches him in a good position, doesn't want to move basically until he finds an ideal situation. He actually just took the loss, wasn't too concerned because obviously, again, he does have this Expo up as well. So it looks like actually Tarson pretty much on even footing now in terms of expansions. Very nice that he managed to take it out. Looks like Grubby going to be going for that again though. Take a look over here. We can see those level 3 upgrades coming out for the bio army here of Tarson. Let's take a quick look over here. What does he have? He is 3-3 as well, with the exception of the plasma shields. Luckily for Grubby, Tarson hasn't pushed up into his 3rd or 4th yet. Just trying to maintain control of the center of the map there. And actually a couple of workers going to get sniped down very quickly by Tarson's units there. Tarson again just kind of moving back and forth across the center of the map, and right now Grubby is just continuing to work on his death ball. Both players have been capped for quite some time though, so going to be interested to see what's going to happen once this engagement comes through. We are seeing the level 1 shield and also getting 2 more robotics for some quick reinforcements there. Needs to be careful. Stalkers blinking back. Some nice storms though going down. There is the stim and pulling away. He's going to be cutting back on the time that stim is actually effective. And wow, unbelievable stimming early, some nice force fields. See you later, Bio Ball. Now we're getting those Colossus sniped down very quickly from those Vikings. They're just so Viking heavy, but those Blink Stalkers are going to be pushing those back right now. And Tarson's on his back foot, running away right now. Those Archons, very scary. They are not effective by those concussive shells. It allows them to basically just move straight up in pursuit of that Bio Army, and there's really nothing the Bio Army can do to kite that. Very interesting. I'm definitely going to say that Grubby won that engagement. Let's take a quick look. Yes, it looks like Tarson has lost more in terms of resources, has lost almost double the amount of units here as well. And it looks like Grubby is continuing up this push. You can see right now so close to being back at that supply cap, 191 compared to the 155 of Tarson, 124 of which is army, so really unbelievable. Scan going down, getting a full scout of the army and unit composition. We do have a few more High Templars sitting over here as well. And again, Grubby just needs to make sure that he does engage at a proper spot, a proper location, and a proper time. You know, it's so the Protoss army is so expensive with those Colossus and High Templars and those Archons as well. It's just such a heavy resource investment. You definitely don't want to get caught out of position. The Bio army typically a little bit cheaper, very quick to reinforce with so many barracks, especially with reactors there, getting a lot of Marines. Obviously, overall though, Tarson is going to be Marauder heavy because that's a more effective build against a against a Protoss opponent. A couple of Stalkers moving on through, going to do a little harassment and then blink down into safety once they do actually encounter any sort of danger. Vikings trying to move forward, but those obviously aren't going to be the most effective, so we're going to have a couple Marauders move down and take care of those. And yes, needs to be very careful about the engagement here. Big EMP going down, but blinking out of it at the last moment. Only about half the units took that EMP. Here come the Colossus engaging a little bit late now, and this Marauder army starting to tear through the Stalkers there, but look at those storms raining down on the Bio army, and see you later. All those Marines and Marauders are all but gone right now. unbelievable. The storms are so fantastic. We can see right now Grubby changing those High Templar into Archons, and we talked earlier how Archons are a little bit more devastating now that they're considered massive units. You can see Psionic massive unit, not affected by the concussive shells, makes them much more effective against that bio army than they used to be, and Tarson losing his third. Looks like he's going to be losing his fourth here as well. We do have some reinforcement Blink Stalkers coming across, a couple Marines Mirage down there, but definitely not enough to contend with what Grubby has right now. Taking a look at this, completely lopsided. Grubby just having a commanding lead in terms of army size. We do have a command center trying to land over here, but Tarson, he's in a lot of trouble right now. He needs to re-up his army, and even he's just so far behind right now. I'm really concerned for him. A couple High Templar. I mean, these Zealots and High Templar are almost enough to take care of that, and there you go. Tarson does just end up calling the GG. Grubby started this game with a 2-gate expand, working his way up and concentrating on his micro and his macro and his economy, and he was also coming out with this robotics bay right here in the right corner to get some Colossus for a general mix of Protoss units against a Terran army. We also saw Tarson go for a quick expansion, and he worked on that general bio build, working his way up into double medevac and Viking as well, and he also got out a Ghost Academy to allow him to get some Ghost in play, clearly, to get EMPs down and deal with High Templar. Upon getting his first 2 medevacs, we did see Tarson try to move out with some drop harassment. Unfortunately for him, though, Grubby laying down some very nice force fields pretty much prevented him from doing much, if any, damage. Basically cut off his ability and his range to actually move out. You can see right there, all the guys stuck behind the force fields, but that one Marauder forced that liftoff. We saw a little bit of mid-game DT harass from Grubby, moving to the Expos of Tarson and delaying them, and also killing off a few SCVs. Via a proxy pylon just north of Tarson's third, we did see a DT and 2 Zealots warped in for some additional harassment of the econ of Tarson. This is one of the big things that Tarson had to deal with that Grubby didn't. We didn't see a lot of econ harass from Tarson in Grubby's base, and this definitely made things much easier for him. Upon hitting supply cap, Tarson moved out to take out Grubby's 5th expansion. Now, at this point in the game, Grubby really didn't want to get caught out of position with his army. That, in addition to the fact that he was already one base above Tarson, pretty much made him decide to not even bother trying to defend it, because even in losing this expansion, he was still on even footing with Tarson in terms of number of bases. Our first big engagement came 23 minutes into the game. You can see here what's going to happen is Grubby actually moves out and moves forward with his High Templar, storming on the bio army, forcing the stim while the army is still vastly away. So you can see that stim very early, all this time being used up before he actually gets within range, and then some nice force fields with this big Colossus death ball. Did a really good job of tearing through that bio army. We did have the Vikings to snipe down those Colossus, but those were eventually picked off with these Blink Stalkers that forced those Vikings to actually head on back home. Due to Grubby's economic advantage and the use of warp gates, he was able to re-up his army to 200 supply faster than Tarson was able to, and then immediately he pushed out. You can see actually moving forward with those gateway units first, blinking away from that first EMP, and then once kind of whittling down the army, he then moved forward with those Colossus. You can see right as those Vikings landed, a very unfortunate timing for Tarson, then also walking through those blanket storms. That pretty much spelled Tarson's doom and forced the GG. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the game. As always, if you like the content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Going to be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. And as always, guys, keep watching and keep owning.